Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nayaswami Padma. Today is Tuesday, April 12th, and I'm here today to bring you the noontime inspiration from the original teachings of Paramhansa Yogananda. And we're reading still out of Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, The Path, or The New Path, as it was called later on. Today is also my granddaughter's birthday. Happy birthday, Olive, if you're out there somewhere. So I'd like to read now. At this point, Marina Leadby's mother, Mrs. Brown, is telling this story. She says, the master was cooking one day in the kitchen. I was there in the room with him. For lack of anything better to do, I decided to clean up after him. The moment he emptied one pan, I washed it. Whenever he spilled anything, I cleaned up the mess. Well, he started dirtying pans and more pans, spilling food and more food. I was working faster and faster to keep up with him. In my whole life, I'd never seen such sloppy cooking. At last, I just gave up. It occurred to me that I might as well wait until he was finished before I did any more. As I sat down to watch him, I noticed him smile, but he said nothing. Presently, I saw he wasn't messing things up anymore. Finally, it dawned on me that he'd only been teaching me the difference between calm, God-reminding activity and the sort of restlessness that one indulges in just for activity's sake. I'd been working in a spirit of busyness. Master's way of showing me my mistake was to lead me to its own logical conclusion, meaning to busyness. And this is a very helpful insight that she offers here. If we're willing to observe ourselves during any given day, how much of our time do we try to fill in the blanks? Do we, if for a few minutes there's nothing to do, we get into idle chatter with somebody, or we might ask useless questions that we actually don't even want to know the answers to. We might not even be that interested in, but it's a way of striking up conversation. Yogananda's foremost disciple, Rajarsi Janakananda, it's said that he barely spoke, and even in the years after Yogananda left his body, and the few years that Rajarsi was running the organization for him, he had a lot of responsibilities, but he carried them out very calmly, and he basically rarely spoke. He would answer questions, he would be polite and appropriate, but he wouldn't initiate conversations needlessly. And this is a fine art, one that's worthwhile practicing, even for a few hours at a time or a few days at a time. Observe ourselves, how much time we fill up with restless activity, idle chatter. And of course, these days, the nemesis of it all with screen time, cell phones, iPads, you name it, computers in general, the internet. There is so much that we can get distracted by. And in the spiritual life, at a certain point, when we meditate enough and feel the deep calmness of meditation enough, we become more aware of those idle fillers, and we don't need them anymore. They could be taken away from us. Seclusion is a wonderful thing to try. A day, a week, as much time as you can take by yourself in silence, where you don't see a soul, there's no need to speak. And what happens is that when we come out of such a seclusion, we realize how much we talk and say that is really not essential. It's not only not necessary, but it detracts from our inner peace and the inner peace of all those around us. So practicing stillness is a remarkable way to feel that divine presence within us and in all our activity and service. Joy to you, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.